Hello and welcome to the most extreme podcast in professional wrestling to date. This is Extreme Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, Ryan Arnold, joined as always by James. And our second special guest today, he is from my channel, Damaged Inc. Network, and also has his own talk show, Eli Talks with. Please allow me to introduce to you Eli. Eli, thank you for joining us today.
Oh, shit. Just kidding. Hey, what's up, guys?
Anyway, let's get right into the news/opinions. So, James, take it away.
Okay, we here at Extreme Wrestling Podcast want to send out our condolences to the family of Shad Gaspard and Japanese female wrestler Hana Kimura, if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yeah.
Both of them unfortunately passed away. Shad Gaspard was at the age of 39, and Hana was the age of 22. Now, Shad Gaspard, we'll go with him first. He died, unfortunately, a hero. He saved his son from the tidal wave in Venice Beach. And a couple of days later, they found his body. The family and friends did do a GoFundMe for Shad. The goal was $100,000, and that goal was met in 12 hours, with the biggest donator being CTC RIP with 40,000. There was other people who donated, like Tony Khan donated 10,000. Cody donated 1,000. Chris Jericho donated 5,000, just to name a few. What's your memory of him, and what opinions did you had about his run in WWE? I'll start with you, Ryan.
I'll go on this one. I never really cared about Crime Time that much. Never really cared about Shad or JTG. But then hearing about about what he was backstage most recently, and obviously the actions he did, having them telling him to go save his son first and all that stuff. I started to think that, wow, this guy, I haven't heard someone this kind of level that people liked him, not since, like, The Undertaker. Where everybody liked him backstage and all that stuff, and he was a likable guy. So my respect for him grew after I heard all the things about him and all of that. Like I said, never really cared for them, but hearing about what he was up until his death and being a hero and all that stuff, I have a lot more respect for him nowadays than I did when he was in WWE with JTG as Crime Time.
Okay. Yeah, man. Well, I actually thought Crime Time was pretty funny at the time. Like being a little kid, like in my 10s or 13s, teens era.
Yeah, I was a teen as well.
Yeah, I thought it was funny because how ridiculous they would act during that time. And I think, honestly, they were a likable team at the time, Crime Time. And too bad, they didn't achieve the tag team belts, but, they should have. They're one of those teams that should have.
Yeah.
Oh, well, though, it sucks. It's never going to happen now.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my opinion is that, when, I was almost in my 20s by the time that, Crime Time was on TV. They were over with the crowd. People liked them, and I think they should have been at least a tag team champion. Had one reign, at least, with the tag team title.
Yeah, I look at them as if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be having, New Day or hell, even Enzo and
Amore.
Enzo Amore and Big Cass, Enzo Amore and Big Cass kind of in some way are like those two, just white and all that.
But the thing was also is that actually I thought about it because you did make a point because as you can see with Crime Time, Enzo and Cass, they also teamed up with Cena. They also had the big stars help team with them.
Oh
Prime
yeah.
Time, they had Cena, and they also had the skit with DX and all the stuff backstage. And again, it's like they were over with the crowd. So
yeah, to the point where they were teaming with 3 of the biggest stars on Monday Night Raw, which is insane.
And I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna go mention the other person who unfortunately passed away. Too. That's Hana Kimura. She is a Japanese wrestler from Stardom. She was also a reality TV star in Japan. She was on Terrence House. That's actually on Netflix. If you want to watch that. But what grinds my gears, and I'm sorry I'm stealing this from Family Guy, and if I get in trouble for this, I'm sorry. But this is a solo rant. What I'm about to say doesn't reflect the show, doesn't reflect Ryan, doesn't reflect our special guest. This is my opinion. This is what everything is from me. All right. She unfortunately passed away late last night, or was in the day in Japan because it's in Japan. But she died of apparent suicide due to cyberbullying.
Yeah.
And I am sorry, but it comes to all these cyberbullying shit. We live in this. I understand. We live in a society that this is just a new normal. It's like people just can't like stuff because they don't like this certain type of thing. Or it's like they don't like this person because of this, or race, gender, what they do, sexual orientations. And I'm sorry. If
Yeah.
you're and again, any famous person deals with this type of situation. Paige, she's dealing with that. Selena Vega and Aleister Black, they're dealing with that because they're 2 different races, and people was like, "Oh, you're not supposed to do stuff like that. You're supposed to do your own kind." And I'm sorry. And Japan, they have different cultures. These wrestlers because Japan has different culture than us.
Yeah.
But seeing these people bullying this person where she commits suicide makes me sick. And that these people who does this, and somebody mentioned this, if you're part of that problem, if you do that side.
James is currently.
Again, I'm gonna say this from that and from last week. If we said anything bad about the women's division in AEW, I apologize. If we offend people, but that was our opinion. But
Yeah.
Again, people like those, anybody, it doesn't matter who you are, if it's famous, not famous. If you victim of this bullying, and you can't seek help, there's people who can't seek help. There's people who can't seek help. I just hate the fact that there's these people these days dealing with doing this bullshit, and I'll call them the keyboard warriors, who says all these stuff, and they can't get punished.
Yeah. I think there's also just like I'm not trying to relate this towards her death, but just sometimes sometimes people can't tell the difference on how you mean a certain way of like a certain message,
Mm-hmm.
Like
But the thing is,
like
Oh, go ahead.
you could say one thing and that person could think like you're talking about something else, but you mean like another thing, like sometimes there's like that miscommunication.
But it's not. But it's again, it's not. But this and the problem is with famous people. It's not just one person. It's many, many people. I think she deal with this stuff because she was on that reality show. But the thing is that there's just all these people who say all these bullshit stuff, and there's the miscommunication. But then there's people that just like they're just they should stay off the internet. I'm sorry.
This shit
Yeah.
what?
They should just stay off the internet. If you constantly bully somebody to where you're satisfied or they're deaf, you shouldn't be on the internet. You should be in jail.
Mm. Mm.
Um.
Yeah. Easily.
All right. So moving on to the next topic. Drew Gulak. Last week, right after our show, originally was reported to be released, but it was found out after the fact that his contract expired with WWE. He was in negotiation to sign a new deal, but both sides did not agree on a deal. Now, because the contract expired, Drew Gulak does not have to wait the 90 days if he wants to sign with somebody else. Ryan, first question. The question goes to you first. What do you think about it, and where do you think he's going to go, or will he return back to WWE? Because
I honestly, I mean, there are some options out there. Obviously, AEW comes to mind. Obviously, he could go to. I don't know if he was there, but he could pretend if he was the Ring of Honor or New Japan, he could go back there. There are options out there.
I can't really say too much about it because like I don't know what was the contract was about. So
It was about he wanted more money, basically.
Oh, okay.
From what I had heard, or from what we heard.
Well, I think the thing with him is like he's not really like a big super like the top WWE star. So like
he is talented. That is for damn sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, but like he's not like someone that he's high demand. I don't think he's high demand. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Let's say this. He did a lot of stuff with Evolve Wrestling before joining WWE, and again, and as I said, he done a lot of indie stuff. He was talented as hell. If you can look at the stuff he did, even his last match with Daniel Bryan, that was a good ass match.
Great technical match. Great.
Uh-huh. Right now, right now with New Japan and Ring of Honor, I would see it. But there's rumors that he could even join the ladder match later on tonight at Double or Nothing. Or AEW is a good place, but the question is, they want to do it, and do they want him to do a PowerPoint presentation?
Yeah. AEW. Well, I think I don't know. Well, we'll see what happens to him, but I'm pretty sure he might just go to the Indies or AEW.
He might even go back to Evolve.
Well, I think the only thing with Evolve is that Evolve is us working with WWE, so I don't know.
Well, yeah, but then again, they had the guy who's formerly known as Evan Bourne worked for them for a few shows, and then they had some NXT people on there, obviously making appearances, but.
Oh, that's true. But anyway, the last opinions and news, or more news, is this last week we were all talking about the Owen Hart situation. As you know, Darkside of the Ring aired the Owen Hart episode this past Tuesday.
Wow.
And basically, there's been a lot of different news things about Martha Hart and why she doesn't, give WWE a chance to put Owen in the Hall of Fame. she has mentioned that the only reason why she doesn't do it is because she don't want to give WWE that that luxury of saying, "Oh, we have Owen Hart," and plus she also mentioned, which I agree, is that WWE Hall of Fame is just it's not a physical thing; it's just a imaginative thing that they just do a ceremony for to get the money. And that was one of the many things. And then basically, if you watch Dark Side of the Ring, you saw a lot of different stuff like Jr. saying that Kevin Dunn was the one that told him that they had to go back on air and all that stuff. So I'll start off with our special guest. What do you think about the situation? Should Owen go to the Hall of Fame after what you've heard and the reasoning of Martha Hart not letting him?
I'm gonna go back to what Jim Cornette says about the WWE Hall of Fame. It's just really Vince McMahon and the people he likes. That's what he really does or do. That's why what's his name, Bruno Sammartino, wasn't in it for the longest time because they always had an issue. So, I mean, he does deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, but yet again, I just think I don't know. I mean, what hurts for him to be in the Hall of Fame?
Well, there's been a lot of people fighting to get Owen Hart into the Hall of Fame, like Bret Hart, Mark Henry, and all this stuff. Again, it's Martha Hart blocking them for that one for one reason or not. She says she'll forgive WWE, but she doesn't want to. She still doesn't want to give them that privilege of it because it's money grabbing stuff.
I see.
Yeah, I can
Fine.
kind of agree with Eli here that it's all about Vince McMahon and his favorite people. I mean, for Christ's sakes, you look at the Hall of Fame, the recent class, you have the freaking Bella twins on there, but then you have people like Batista, NWO, the British Bulldog finally got in. You see people, those kind of people who deserve to be in, because of how influential they are, and obviously, yada, yada, yada. But to get on the point of Owen Hart, I do think a part of me would like to see him be in the WWE Hall of Fame, and part of me agrees with Bret Hart, Mark Henry, some of the others that he should be in there, but obviously Martha Hart doesn't want that and all that. I'm just one of many people who wants to see Owen Hart get in the Hall of Fame.
I think a lot of us wants to have Owen Hart in the Hall of Fame, but I understand the reasoning. Let's say if they actually did build a physical WWE Hall of Fame. Does Martha Hart do it? I still say no, just because of the whole fact that, see, she even mentioned that there was lawsuits right after the deaths, so because of the breach of contract stuff. And a lot of stuff that was put out in the Owen Hart thing. So I'm also one of those fans that wants to see Owen in the Hall of Fame, but it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
All right, now we're going over to our show topics. All right, want to take it away?
All right.
Who's gonna go?
No, take away with our topics from Raw.
Okay, I'm gonna go a little bit out of. Well, I guess we could go in order. We start off with from what I saw, a feud between Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley with MVP by his side, will be duking it out at Backlash for the WWE Championship. James
wow.
or Eli, whichever one of you wants to go.
Wow. Well, I believe Drew will still probably will win the match. That's what I'm going by. I just feel like it's too new. It's too recent for him to drop the belt for him because he's
Yeah.
kind of like um, kind of hot, like in a way of like people are starting to recognize him more, and then like people are start liking him.
Yeah.
And Bobby
Well,
Lashley, he's kind of just like a. Now I just feel like he's just there. Honestly, he seems like he's just there.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
the
James.
thing is that Lashley, he could win the belt, and his main feud that he always wants is Brock Lesnar. But
Yeah.
again, it's too early for it, and again, hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Anyways,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. No, it's just saying is that it's early for Lashley to win the title, but it's a push Lashley kind of needs. A couple years late, but it's a push he needs really.
Exactly. They need to. I mean, push him to be not the not the top guy, but kind of be one of those that's in the hunt. Kind of be one of those top guys that's like, if Brock Lesnar wants to fight, have someone Brock Lesnar can at least fight against. That is kind of the top guy, and they need to build Bobby Lashley to, in order for that match to even potentially happen.
yeah, that's gonna happen this Monday, right?
No, the backlash.
No, the
That's
Oh,
gonna be
Backlash.
Backlash is gonna be the WWE title match.
Okay, cool.
yeah. What's the next thing we got to talk about on Raw, James?
Next one is basically Asuka had her championship celebration with Kairi Sane playing a flute apparently, but it was interrupted by Nia Jax. Nia Jax it looks like she's gonna be the next contender if she wins the triple threat match. We
Yeah,
get into that later on.
that's the key. Yeah, that's the key
But the
because
thing is also the main thing is that Nia Jax did attack Kyrie and then Asuka got revenge. So the thing is that what do you see in this feud? How you see this going on? And do you see him? Well, again, do you think Nia's going to win that triple threat match this Monday? And we'll start off with Eli.
because like I said, that triple threat match not only has Nia Jax in it, but Natalya and the current NXT Women's Champion Charlotte Flair, and that's a double-edged sword. It's obviously they probably are going to have Nia win, and basically Natty is just going to be the one that eats the pin, regardless of who it is. Between Charlotte and Nia, one of them, it doesn't matter. Not Natty's gonna be the one that gets the pin, that's gonna be pinned and all that stuff. But if they go the route with Charlotte, we would all know in an instant that they're gonna bury Asuka and she's gonna become freaking Charlotte 2 belts, and I would be freaking pissed off. But I think the right decision is because they're doing the feud, having Asuka with the feud and Nia. I think that's the more reasonable solution that Nia's gonna win like easily. I'd be surprised if Charlotte gets pinned. That would be something.
Well, we'll mention Charlotte later on, but Eli, what's your thoughts?
So it's Asuka versus Nia versus Charlotte versus Natalie, right? I mean
No, it's
Natalia.
a triple threat. Winner faces Asuka.
No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
no. So basically, this Monday it's gonna be Charlotte versus Natalia versus Nia Jax. Winner gets to face Asuka for the women's title at
Uh,
Backlash. What
I
is your
think
thoughts on it?
well, I just want to mention. Let's not forget that Asuka beat Nia Jax a couple years ago on when she was still in NXT. So we'll just have that in mind. So if I think, like, let's just say if she does win, I think Asuka might win the belt. I mean, retain
Yeah,
the
it might
belt.
just be they might just have her put a title defense
Well,
or two successful title defenses or two for Asuka before she drops it to more than likely Shayna Baszler.
I just
Right.
believe. I just believe maybe Nia might just win this match.
Well, the thing
That's
is for me, it's like it's obvious who's gonna win just because of who what happened this past Monday with Nia and Asuka and Kyrie. So
Yeah, we all.
it's gonna be simple. The fact that we all know that it's gonna be Nia Jax versus Asuka, and just like always, and Eli did mention this. Asuka beats Nia. They haven't. I don't think there was a match that Asuka lost to Nia.
No, it's a foregone conclusion. But then, like we said, Charlotte's in that match, and Charlotte has Asuka's number. We all know that if Charlotte wins that match, it's like, hey, she's gonna become 13-time women's champion, bury Asuka in this push she's getting.
But yes, we will go into that situation later because the storyline currently with Charlotte does not make sense for her.
She's more worried about defending the NXT women's title.
Again, we mentioned we're gonna mention that in the NXT part. So
yeah,
we'll save that for later.
We'll get to that one, but the only reason I see Charlotte winning it is one step closer to being like her father and being 16-time champ, and
but again, WWE is kind of predictable, and really, you gotta have Nia beat up Asuka. We'll interrupt Asuka for some reason just to have Charlotte win the Triple Threat Monday. It won't make sense. But.
Yeah, if Asuka interferes on freaking in that match and freaking Charlotte wins it, I guarantee
it's not gonna happen.
Asuka's getting buried.
No, it's not gonna happen. Again, we will mention the Charlotte part at NXT. But what's our third topic for Raw?
Yes, the third topic. Obviously, I think sometime earlier that night, Austin Theory was kicked out of Zelina Vega's little crew. That it's not just a Theory, but also Angel Garza and Andrade. And then later that night, we see him laying down, and the match between Aleister Black and Murphy was going on, and Steph went over to Theory, said something, and then Austin Theory, and long story short, joined Seth Rollins and Murphy. James?
It's set up the same way Murphy joined, became a disciple of Seth Rollins. Basically, Austin Theory got beat up by Andrade and Angel Garza before in the segment after Garza and Andrade lost to Owens and Apollo Crews. And basically now he joins Seth Rollins. But it looks like we might have some tension between Murphy and Austin Theory. Do you think Murphy's going to leave the Messiah? Will turn on the Messiah if because of jealousy?
I honestly don't know. Like, I didn't really see it or anything like that, but you know, it could be there, it might not be there, but
if you look how
you were gonna say, James?
No. Before we go to Eli, I was going to say is that if you look at how Murphy looked at Seth Rollins while he was hugging Austin Theory, you kind of see a little bit of that tension. Yeah. But Eli, your thoughts about it?
About how Murphy looked at Seth Rollins?
Or overall with Austin Theory joining Seth Rollins?
Oh. Man. It could be a good push within that crew, but I don't know how it's gonna last overall. So, well, yeah, I don't know what else to say about that because I just feel like I think Seth Rollins overall could just do fine by himself. We've seen that before.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see, man. Like, hopefully, I kind of like that little faction. I don't know what they're called, but it's kind of cool. Like, it's a little bit different from what
It's
WWE
it's
do.
basically it's the Messiah and his disciples.
Oh, okay, Messiah and his disciple. Okay, cool. Yeah. Um. Yeah, I think this seems like it's going somewhere.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what do you got to say about it, Ryan?
I already said my thoughts on it. So
Oh,
what's
okay.
what's the next what's the next show we're gonna talk about, James?
Talking about NXT. Now the
Yep.
first thing we talk about is our friend Cross. I still like to call him Killer Cross, but
He goes by Karrion Cross.
Karrion Cross. Thank you. So Karrion Cross started NXT by beating a jobber.
Yep.
And that's because it's jobber is a squash match. After the match, however, Pastor Ciampa comes out and basically says to Cross, he praised Cross on his style and stuff, and he wanted to introduce him into NXT, and he announced that at Takeover in your house, it's gonna be Cross and Ciampa in a match. Your thoughts on it, Ryan?
I'm excited for this match. I've seen what Ciampa can do when it comes to wrestling and all that stuff, and he's put on some fantastic matches in the past. I have no doubt that this match is going to be fantastic. But obviously, he might be doing the job in this one, but I still think it's going to be a fantastic match. Easily. Eli?
Oh, I have to be honest with you guys. I don't really watch NXT because it's not that I don't hate it. It's just that. But now I could watch NXT, but like for the longest time, I just had to
It's
pay.
fine.
But yeah, that's that's all I gotta
It's
say.
fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
It's fine.
Also,
Hey,
the same with AEW. Like, I do plan to watch that show, but as of now, I don't know what's going on. So it's just like I'm living under a rock when it comes to AEW.
that's fine. That's fine. I guess why it's just you and me talking about it. Okay. So
yeah.
this is gonna be a good match. Ciampa, known to have his good matches, and Cross this is just his first big test in the AEW brand. Because I mean not AEW, NXT. Sorry.
Not
Sorry.
AEW. NXT.
No, because he mentioned AEW. That's why I said AEW. No, but this is gonna be Cross's biggest test in NXT because he only had 2 matches and it was against 2 jobbers. So we can really see how well he does in the NXT against one of your top guys.
Yeah. Yeah, easily.
All right. You want to take over there? Start off our next topic for NXT.
I'm trying to remember. I couldn't remember everything else about that. That was the only thing I remember from NXT. But
So basically, our next one that I have the notes on. It's Dexter Lumis. He fought Roderick Strong in a match on NXT. Roderick Strong pulled out the surprise win over Dexter Lumis. And he did it without the Undisputed Era, which was kind of surprising. But then After the match, Dexter Loomis does his little submission hold. I don't know what it is. And
Sleeper. It's a form of
yes,
a sleeper hold.
yeah. And then basically the other members of the Undisputed Era, which is
Adam
Fish
Cole
and
and Bobby Fish came
yeah,
out.
hmm and they attacked Dexter Loomis. And then Velveteen Dream came out to do the save. At the end, you see the Velveteen Dream hitting the elbow on
Adam Cole.
Adam Cole.
On where the fans would be.
Yeah, where the fans would be over the barricade.
Yeah.
And then basically you see Dexter Loomis, rubbing the hair of Strong,
Yeah.
with Dream in the background doing his little pose on the steps. Now, next week, Adam Cole was supposed to do a 1 year celebration of his NXT title reign, but he's gonna do a what you call it?
He's gonna be talking to William Regal.
Yes. Well, yeah. Basically, he's doing negotiation. That's what I was thinking. The negotiation with William Regal about the Velveteen Dream. Now, where does this lead to?
Put him potentially dropping the title.
To who? To Dream?
I would think so.
Okay.
I mean, obviously the allegations were false, so I think at this point he's held the title for he's a year now, and I think it's time he should drop it at this point.
Well, in this situation, I think the allegations is not that hot as it was, but it doesn't look like Dream's getting in trouble for any point of it. And to have Dexter Loomis helping out him, that's actually is going to be a very interesting, seeing if they're going to form a tag team with these two.
Yeah.
So yeah, we figure out everything next week. Last but not least, we had Io Shirai and Rhea Ripley. This match was a great match all the way up to when Charlotte Flair came out. She didn't interfere, but then she did interfere, basically causing a no contest. And at the end, Charlotte Flair holds up the NXT Championship. Now, it was announced on Twitter that Charlotte Flair will defend her NXT Championship in a triple threat match against both Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai. Now, honestly, this is where I would say the only reason why Charlotte is not going to win the triple threat this Monday is because of the fact that she's dealing with this feud in NXT. Yes, she's a big star, but at the same time, she doesn't, it just seems that I think she would I want to see her rather concentrate on the feud on NXT more than dealing with the stuff on Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah.
You got thoughts on it?
I completely agree with you on that she shouldn't be going after the Raw title when she's so much focused on defending her NXT Women's title at this point.
Hold on, real quick. Hold on, sorry. I'm sorry. All right, keep going.
I think this match is gonna be very interesting to say the least. The NXT Women's Title triple threat, that is. I honestly think Charlotte might come out with the victory, to be honest, and potentially carry it all the way through to SummerSlam and probably drop it there.
Okay. But who would she drop it to? That's the main question.
More than likely Rhea Ripley.
Okay. All right. So, all right, that's it for the NXT version. Now we're going to SmackDown. And SmackDown, we will start off with our The first thing we should really start off with would be Braun Strowman.
Yes.
Braun Strowman and Miz and Morrison. Hey, hey, ho, ho. As you know, Miz and Morrison had the dirt sheet, and then basically Braun Strowman came out in a rup, basically, and then Morrison got Miz into a match in which the Miz got beat up and lost. Afterwards, Morrison basically challenged Braun to a handicap match for the Universal Championship at Backlash. Now, this is a different way of. I didn't think that they were going to go this route, but I see why they did it. Just because of, I think they don't want the Fiend fighting for the championship yet.
Yeah.
You think so, Ryan?
I absolutely agree that they should just have Strowman have an extended title run, like kind of the same way with Charlotte, have a run all the way up to potentially SummerSlam where he'll drop the title to the Fiend.
So you think it's going to be a little bit longer than we?
Yeah, it's gonna probably go a little bit longer or something like that.
Okay.
Eli. Yeah, I don't know why he's muted.
I know I muted him because of the background noise.
Eli, what are your thoughts on this?
On the Braun Strowman versus
Miz and Morrison. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Man, but he is a big guy, so there's that. But I think the thing is, like, Miz and Morrison been in the game so long, and I probably believe it seems like I think people are gonna say Braun Strowman's gonna win just because he's Braun, but I just think maybe they'll have an advantage on him. So Miz and John Morris.
Honestly, for me, what I think about that would be, I think this is going to set up Miz and Morrison breaking up, just because how Morrison got Miz into the match.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh. So this is just going to be this is basically it's accomplishing two things. One, yeah, you have the Fiend mentioned, but Braun Strowman is not feeding the Fiend yet, and I think they need to save the Fiend for the occasion. But at the same time, you're looking at Miz and Morrison. Yeah, they're a good team, but I don't think they were. I don't think they were supposed to last this long than they are because of the crowdless shows. But again, I think this is setting up Miz and Morrison breaking up.
Okay.
Ryan?
Probably.
Yeah.
All right. The second part of this would be the Intercontinental Championship tournament. There were two matches this Friday that was part of that tournament. It was Jeff Hardy beating Sheamus in the main event to advance. He is going to go fight Daniel Bryan, and that will be a good match. I'll tell you that. But the main thing about this one is AJ Styles knocking off Nakamura and advancing to fight Elias. Now, what was announced on the show, which I think was pre-recorded, because I think that sounded pre-recorded, was that AJ Styles got traded to SmackDown. That's why he was in the tournament for future draft picks. Eli, I'm going to start off with you. What you think about this tournament? Who you think going to win? And your thoughts of AJ Styles being on back to SmackDown?
Yeah, I think AJ should stay in SmackDown. That's like, to me, that's it. That's where he became a star. But I mean, I know he was already known, but I just feel like AJ helped bring SmackDown to another notch. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And who's in the tournament again?
Right now it's AJ Styles. He's gonna fight Elias next week, and Daniel Bryan's gonna fight Jeff Hardy.
Oof. Probably think AJ will win, and between Daniel and Jeff, I like Jeff Hardy. I think he's a cool wrestler, but I just feel like he's not going anywhere. So I just feel like Daniel Bryan's gonna win just cause.
Yeah.
And then the AJ and Daniel Bryan will fight again, and then Daniel will turn heel again.
Or maybe AJ turns heel because he is technically still a heel.
Yeah, true.
AJ Styles do the same thing Daniel Bryan did to him. All right, Ryan, thoughts about it?
Oh yeah. I have that was one problem you said. Jeff Hardy versus Daniel Bryan. I essentially had picked Sheamus to win the whole tournament, and basically Jeff beat him in a roll-up, and that kind of pissed me off to no end because, to be honest, did Jeff really need the win? Like seriously, he's been the Intercontinental Champion before. I think he was going to do the job, get bro kicked 1, 2, 3. And then Sheamus was going to go on to the finals and win the whole damn thing. But nope.
Well, for me,
Other than that, obviously, I now think AJ might win the belt. Maybe Daniel. I don't know.
Well, the thing about this one is that I agree that Jeff Hardy doesn't really need the win, but at the same time, if you look at it this way, Jeff Hardy and Daniel Bryan is a hell of a dream match.
I mean, yeah, it could be. It is. In terms of Daniel Bryan's safety, we don't want him getting another concussion from Sheamus. I can see that now. Like, it's a little bit safer for Daniel Bryan to face Jeff Hardy than facing Sheamus again.
But the only reason why I think they did that was because of one thing. Sheamus is going to screw Jeff Hardy out of the tournament. Daniel Bryan's going to win because of Sheamus. Just because of that feud. That feud is going to go on for a while.
Yeah.
AJ Styles, I'm a little surprised, but I kind of understand why they decided to go with the route of he got traded to SmackDown. It makes more sense of him going to SmackDown. And what I think is that Bliss and Cross is that team that people for AJ Styles to go to Raw because of their thing with the Iconics, because they really are SmackDown superstars. But they're putting the emphasis that AJ Styles never won the Intercontinental Championship. That's the only title that he hasn't won. Yeah, Sheamus is basically the same thing, but they didn't want to give it to Sheamus.
The Intercontinental title is a title he has not won. It's the last thing he needs to win to become Grand Slam and Full House champion.
Yeah, exactly. Now AJ Styles, he can't be a Grand Slam because he hasn't won the tag titles with anybody.
Yeah, he hasn't won that yet.
But it's
can't
just
be Full House either because he hasn't even won King of the Ring, Royal Rumble, or Money in the Bank. He had a chance, but it slipped through his gloves.
Yep. But again, AJ Styles they're just gonna give it to Styles. Unless they do something. I don't think I mentioned that until another time.
Yeah.
No, because you know what I also think this though, Ryan. Guess who else hasn't won an Intercontinental Championship?
Who?
The Undertaker.
Oh yeah. God, that would just.
Undertaker hasn't won a singles championship.
So well, actually, he has won a singles championship. He hasn't even won a minor singles champion. A minor title.
A secondary title. I'm sorry.
He hasn't won a secondary. He's won the world title and he's won the tag title. And I guess you can kind of count that he won the hardcore title.
Yeah, but in order for her to be an old school Grand Slam, he can go after Intercontinental.
Well, yeah. Well,
but I think this is good. It might lead to the feud, but again, I don't know. Anyway,
I don't think that I don't think he's like. going to ever fight for another title again. Just like how his schedule is nowadays, it's just like
Yeah.
only doing matches in WrestleMania or certain pay-per-view is just
If you looked at his last ride documentary, he said he only fights only when he feels like it needs to be done. So again, AJ Styles of him and AJ Styles again could be maybe the SummerSlam. I don't know.
well, we'll see.
Yeah.
Last but not least, because everybody we just love mentioning Charlotte Flair and all these three brands.
Oh,
Charlotte has to be mentioned in all three brands, you know?
yeah.
Basically, we had champion versus champion, Bayley versus Charlotte. Bayley told Sasha in the back before the match to not come out and interfere. Let her do whatever. Bayley beat Charlotte in the champion versus champion because of cheating ways. But as you know, Sasha and Bayley still teases the tension between those two. Brian, when are they going to ever stop the teasing?
Hopefully soon. I got no comment after that.
You got nothing else about this thing overall?
Yeah, I believe maybe it's gonna get to a point where maybe just Sasha is just gonna fight Bayley for that belt.
That's what most of us been going after.
It's just like getting to that point. It's just like why are you at her side this entire time? I mean, I know they're friends and all.
Who's the heel?
I know they're friends and all, but just like Sasha Banks, I think she achieved more than Bayley before she had the belt.
The question is, who's the face, who's the heel out of this, Eli?
Who will be the face?
Uh-huh.
Probably Bayley. I think it's gonna be like not like her previous character when she's just like want to hug people, but it's just more like revenge kind of feeling.
Honestly, I could see Bayley. Well, since Bayley's interrupting Banks so often when Banks try to talk, I think Bayley's going to be the heel. Sasha's going to be the face of all this.
Yeah.
That's me. Any last words?
That's it about that. I do want to mention that Becky Lynch is even though you guys were past Raw, she is probably one of my favorite current super WWE superstar. So I want to mention that she will be missed. Even though you guys talked about that already.
Yeah, we talked about that last week when we went to talking about Money in the Bank and stuff.
All right. Now we get into predictions for Double or Nothing. James, take it away.
As you know, Double or Nothing was supposed to be in Vegas today, but because of this stuff, it's gonna be where they've been doing the last couple of AEW shows, which I don't remember the name of the place. It is Daly's Place, the amphitheater that's basically connected to TIAA Banks Field, which is the Jacksonville Jaguars Stadium. I will mention that stadium in a bit when we talk about one match. But our first match that we're talking about is that Private Party, Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Queen, will fight the best friends, Chuck Taylor and Trent. This is a buy-in match. This is basically their version of the pre-show. And this is for the number one contendership for the AEW Tag Team titles, which is currently held by Adam Page, Hangman Page, and Kenny Omega. Brian, predictions.
I picked the best friends in this match.
Private Party you haven't heard much of in a while, Best friends, they've been basically.
Obviously, they've been feuding. I think some of the members have been feuding with Kenny Omega, so it's more than likely that the best friends are going to win it.
No, best friends not feuding with Omega. They just feud with other people.
Yeah, they've been on TV more often, so I think I'm picking best friends to win it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's going to be now. Our next one is because the only reason why I'm not going to Eli because I know Eli doesn't watch AEW. That's why I'm not saying anything. I apologize, Eli, ahead of time.
No, it's all right.
The next one is during the show the Casino ladder match for the #1 contendership for the AEW World Title. Darby Allin versus Colt Cabana versus Orange Cassidy versus Joey Janela versus Scorpio Sky versus Kip Sabian versus Frankie Kazarian versus Luchasaurus and versus a person to be determined at the show, which it would be a surprise. So again, that could lead up to maybe our friend Drew Gulak coming out. But also a side note, Ray Phoenix was supposed to be in his match, but he got placed by Joey Janela because he suffered an injury during Dynamite this past Wednesday.
Yeah.
A botch off the top rope type. Yeah. Ryan, I'm sorry to interrupt.
I think whoever the mystery opponent is will probably win it because outside of that one, I'd love to see Orange Cassidy win it. Good old freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy. But I honestly think the mystery opponent will probably win it, more than likely.
I agree with you, Ryan, because I think it's whoever it is, it's gonna be a shocker for basically people, and basically whoever is that mystery opponent is gonna win that #1 contendership. Not gonna win the title, but this could be. Dark Horse is Orange Cassidy because he's Orange Cassidy. Everybody loved the hell out of him.
Yeah, easily.
All right, so next one is Penelope Ford versus Chris Stanley. Now everybody's wondering, well, wait a minute. I thought it was supposed to be Britt Baker. Well, unfortunately, that this on Dynamite also,
Britt Baker got injured.
Yes, got injured. Apparently, maybe had torn her ACL, so she might be out for a very long time. So she basically got replaced by Penelope Ford. And I'm going to say this. I don't care for this match. Chris Statlander is going to win this match.
Yeah, I agree. Regardless of who it was going to be, either Britt Baker or Penelope Ford, I think Chris Statlander was going to go over regardless.
I honestly think if it was Britt Baker would have won, what was in this match, she would have.
Yeah, I would have also thought that if it was Britt Baker, she might have won it. Maybe dirty wise. Like maybe a roll or something, grabbing the.
No, she's gonna do it by her lockjaw submission.
Yeah, but I think this is Chris Statlander's gonna win it.
Mm-hmm. In the most randomest match, MJF with Warlock versus he will fight Jungle Boy. Honestly,
I say MJF's winning.
Yeah,
I'd be surprised if Jungle Boy wins it, but I'm picking MJF.
As much as I want Jungle Boy to win, because I hate the hell out of MJF, MJF is going to win. He's gonna use the diamond ring again to win the match.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of interference in this match. MJF is going to win. Yeah. And plus, he's undefeated, really. So. And another match. Now we go into the meat and bones of these matches. Nyla Rose versus Hikaru Shida. Hikaru Shida, thank you. This match is for the AEW Championship. The AEW Women's Championship. And this match is a no disqualification, no countout match. I'm sorry. This is too predictable. Nyla Rose is winning because she is known to throw people into a table.
I
So
disagree with you on this one. I'm picking Hikaru Shida. Because I look at her as of recently as of last week's episode, and I can see her like, oh yeah, she looks like money. To me at least. She looks like money. I think she's gonna go over in this one. I'm sick of, plus I'm also getting quite sick and tired of seeing I basically said last week that I'm getting sick and tired of a woman who used to be a man being the women's champion. So I'm picking Hikaru Shida for this one.
as much as I want to, but it's got to be Nyla Rose. They're putting her as a dominant champion, so it's gonna be Nyla Rose. Speaking of championship, this is the tournament finals for the inaugural AEW Championship.
TNT Championship.
Sorry. I'm messing up these title names. Sorry.
Yeah,
For the
and
AEW,
it will be, and obviously this will be presented by Iron Mike Tyson. For me, this is a tough one, but I'm gonna go with Cody Rhodes on this one.
It depends on Tyson's involvement. If Tyson gets involved, then I see Cody, but I think Lance Archer is going to win the title. He's going to be the first team. It just all depends on Jake the Snake, Arn Anderson, and Mike Tyson.
Don't forget Brandy too.
Well, Brandy's going to go after Jake anyway because she wants revenge for the Snake. So.
Yeah.
My winner is going to be Lance Archer, but if it's interference, it's Cody.
Yeah.
All right.
Next match.
Next match is our Stadium Stampede match. It is Broken Matt Hardy, and the Elite, which is the tag champions of Adam Page and Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks of Matt and Nick Jackson, versus the Inner Circle, which is Chris Jericho, Jack Hager, Sammy Guevara, Santina, and Ortiz. Now, everybody wonder, what the hell is a Stadium Stampede match? Simple.
Street fight. It's just a big group street fight, basically.
It's a Falls Count Anywhere street fight that is inside of the Jacksonville Jaguars Stadium, which is, as again, TIAA Banks Field. They're going to start at the 50-yard line in the ring, and then basically everything else can just go wherever the hell they want. They can do it in the press box. They can go to the scoreboard. They can go to the stands. They can go to the popcorn area. Anything goes, no disqualification, Falls Count Anywhere. Empty arena match, basically. And I've heard that this was taped already, and there will be some maybe promos here and there from people popping up, just like they did with Money in the Bank. But
yeah,
I'm gonna say that the Elite and Matt Hardy wins, unless Adam Page turns on the Elite.
Yeah, I'm the same with that. I'm saying the Elite, but if Adam turns on them, Inner Circle.
And last but not least, it is Jon Moxley versus Mr. Brody Lee for the AEW World Title, in which Mr. Brody Lee did steal from Mr. Moxley.
And for those who are watching who are WWE people, these were the ones that were formerly known as Dean Ambrose and Luke Harper.
Mm-hmm. Now, Jon Moxley is defending the championship against Brody Lee. And this situation, I would say, because there's going to be a lot of screwiness and there's going to be a lot of interference from the Dark Order, but Dean Ambrose is going to get his title back.
I agree. Unless there's some shenanigans going on, I think Moxley, FKA Ambrose, will retain the title.
All right. So, any last words before we head out?
Eli?
Well, I gotta go back to what was that wrestler who passed away? The Japanese one.
Oh,
Hana,
Hana, yeah.
Hana Kimura.
Just going back to like that whole theme of like just uh internet and how people talk about certain artists or person or don't matter. I think people should realize sometimes that I'm also starting out with this whole podcasting too, and sometimes I get like really criticized really hard. And the thing is, like, sometimes you could take it one way, or like, that person's just being mean, or maybe just something like you're not recognizing from your mistakes. So I highly suggest, like, really consider, well, not consider other people's opinions, but just like, know what you're doing. Try to like, we all should all make like better content. I guess that's what I'm saying.
But
Like,
yeah, and here's the thing though, there's people going into this, going back to that thing. There's people that's quick to judge. Yes, I know the people don't make good content. Honestly, with us, we don't. We're still starting off this. We're trying to still get up. We're trying to find a groove for this. You think so, right? We're trying to find a groove for this show.
Yeah, obviously.
yeah,
And we're not all perfect. But at the same time, it's just it pisses me off. It's like people quick to judge people, and a lot of these people, a lot of wrestlers, right now are all coming out. It's like, you need to watch what you say. You basically like words hurt, and we have to agree about it. It's just like we live in a society that cyberbullying will always be the norm.
yeah.
No matter what you do, no matter how you do it, it's gonna people always criticize to the point that they don't want you to kill yourself, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Well, yeah. Well, on that point, Del, we must go. You can basically find us all on social media, I guess. On Facebook, we have a Facebook group. Obviously, you can find Eli on not just my channel, damn it, you can get work, but also his channel. What is your channel called, Eli?
Oh yeah. I have a podcast as well. It's called Eli Talks with. I don't always talk about wrestling, but I'll talk about it here and then on the channel. So I just basically interview people like how you guys kind of do. Well, you guys don't interview people. You guys bring in guests. I sometimes bring guests, but yeah, it's Eli Talks with. Subscribe to that channel, everyone.
Yeah, and
And thank
obviously
you for.
you can find me on here, obviously Extreme Wrestling Podcast, as well as Damage Inc. Network, where I will be promoting up until next Friday my cool roster, which will be coming out next Friday. So until then, we will see y'all next Saturday.